What's up, agents? Zer here, welcome back to lab, and today we're going to be taking a look at two separate resource packs that will actually help you out if you are working with Redstone. I gotta say, I've only been really looking at these resource packs for a short amount of time, and I'm already impressed with what they're actually able to do. That's how really awesome that these resource packs are. I will make sure to have linked down in the description links to both of these resource packs if you want to download them for yourself, as well as the creator's social link if they happen to have any. Also, if you enjoy this video and you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that like and that subscribe button. But let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that we're going to discuss is, technically speaking, a shader pack. This is called the functionality shader pack, and there are two different versions of this pack. What I have installed as of right now is version 5, which includes two different features. Version 8 has a third feature, which I will show off a little bit later via screenshots. So what this shader pack does, first of all, you can see these lines going through the lab. These are chunk borders, and something that I find really interesting about these chunk border lines, it actually does highlight the blocks on the edge of a chunk. I do think this is an interesting detail. I think this is actually pretty useful. And the second thing that this shader pack does is, well, first off, it actually smooths out the redstone line, so it's a lot more defined. But the second thing, you can actually tell numerically what the signal strength actually is. And actually, before I go any further, I completely forgot to credit the creator. This was created by someone by the name of, and I apologize if I mispronounce this by any means, they are named Oeo Tian. This is an incredibly difficult name to have to pronounce, and I apologize. But yeah, so yeah, like I said, that's the creator's name, so shout out to them. So yeah, as you can tell, getting back to what I was saying, yeah, it shows numerically the signal strength. This is incredibly useful, especially, like, for example, this 7 and 8, it's incredibly difficult to tell that these are the exact different signal strength. That came out weird, but you guys get my point. Simply because of how saturated the texture technically is. However, with this pack on, it's very easy to tell because you can obviously tell that they are numbered. This is incredibly useful. Now, the third thing that this shader pack does, as I said, it's not included in the version that I have installed, but the version that I will show in screenshots, this includes light levels, which is incredibly useful if you are trying to prevent mobs from spawning in a very specific area. So yeah, I did want to show it off because I figured some of you guys might be interested in reading or at least hearing about that. So let's move on to the second resource pack. This is called the Clear Wire Resource Pack, and this was created by Tal Melamed, if I'm pronouncing this one correctly as well. And this includes an entire list of changes. It's long enough that I am not going to be showing off absolutely everything in this video. I will, however, show off the 3 things that I feel are incredibly handy, at least for me personally. So I have myself an observer, I also have myself a hopper, and I have myself a sticky piston, and I've actually got a regular piston for comparison. So let's go ahead and start off with the observer. So I'll go ahead and place this down. If you take a look on any one of these sides, you can see it has these arrows as well as these little notches up on the tops, and that's because these are indicators not only of what direction the observer itself is facing, but whether or not it actually detects a change. So if I go ahead and place a block right here, as you can tell, the arrows are actually indicating that there's changes going on with these observers. As you can tell, this is flashing right out the back, and it's flashing at the exact same time as these arrows. These notches up on these tops are indicating what direction that the observer is actually looking, and on these sides is obviously the output, which, as I said, this is incredibly handy, I'm not gonna lie. So now we're gonna take a look at hoppers, and this is something that I feel is incredibly subtle, but at the same time pretty useful. As you can tell, we've got these little red notches around the corners, which is actually pretty handy. And I feel like if I drop something in here, no, I was looking through the texture files of this resource pack, And I noticed that there was some sort of lit state, but I can't seem to figure out how to activate that. But maybe it's the fact that I need to actually have it powered. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not 100% sure. But it actually has a slightly different texture if it's facing the side of a block. It's got this little notch similar to the observer, and that's actually detecting, or at least showing off, what direction the hopper is actually pointing in. So as you can tell, it's pointing into this stair block, and as a result, that arrow is pointing in the exact same direction. As I said, that's pretty useful. So let's go ahead and show off the sticky piston now. And as I said, I've got a regular piston for comparison. So I'm going to go place down the regular piston first. And as you can definitely tell, it looks like a regular piston, obviously. But if I were to do the exact same thing with the sticky piston right here, as you can tell, it's got the sticky texture, the slime texture, on pretty much every single face of the piston head. And this is incredibly useful simply because then you'll be able to tell which pistons in your build are sticky pistons and which ones are regular pistons. I do like this change an absolute ton. And as I said, there are more changes in this particular resource pack, but I just wanted to show off the ones that I personally felt are the most important for me. Two things that I do want to go ahead and mention is that it does also include the smoother redstone dust that the functionality shader includes, just without the actual numeric values. And then it also does change the color of pumpkin and melon stems, so you know which is which I do like a lot. Again, there's a lot more in this resource pack, and according to what I'm reading, there's plans to make changes later on in the future, which I do like a lot. But other than that, this is literally all I want to go ahead and show off as far as this video is concerned. Like I said, there's a lot more to this one particular resource pack, and the shader pack is really awesome. But other than that, like I said, I'm going to end things off here. So, hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you did, make sure that like button. One more, make sure that subscribe button for future content. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at AgentCPU0 to stay updated. This has been Zer0's. Thank you guys for watching, and with that, I will see you guys later.